It's time now for our big things segment, the things that Coach Keating and DG have just been itching to talk about here on Timeout, the Tobacco Road basketball show each week. And David, your big thing is about the big guy, Cooper Flagg, and his impact. Put it into perspective for us, what he's done here in his first year of college basketball.
Yeah, I think Duke, as Pete Gillen used to say, Duke is on TV more than Leave It to Beaver reruns. So part of the reason we're going to see them on national TV again this week a couple of times, including, by the way, that is a Fox prime time game when they play Illinois up in New York City. So that's the 8 o'clock window on the main Fox channel. Part of that is Duke is Duke. Part of that is Cooper Flagg is Cooper Flagg, and I do hope to add some perspective beyond the intense coverage that this young man has received all season long. I thought we all got a little bit of an early glimpse on what Cooper Flagg was going to turn out to be last fall when Mike Krzyzewski himself, the retired Duke basketball coach, was so excited about Flagg's commitment to John Shire that Coach K forgot about NCAA rules temporarily. It is actually a minor violation of NCAA rules for any athletics department representative to comment publicly about a guy who hasn't signed yet. And at that point, Flagg had only committed. So Coach K is talking to one of his media buddies on the Olympic channel and just goes over the top with his praise for Cooper Flagg as this rare talent with an unusual skill set. He described him compared him to one of the greatest international defensive players of all time. He mentioned that under the old rules, when high school players were still allowed to go straight to the NBA, Coach K said that Cooper Flagg would have been none and done, meaning never even arriving at Duke and just on to the NBA. In this case, of course, Flagg has this freshman season, and he's probably on his way to being that number one NBA pick after being a one and done guy in Durham. We also got a little bit of an early look into his world when the NBA players that Cooper Flagg competed with and against on Team USA last year raved about him as a guy who at that point was only 17 years old and holding his own against truly the best professional players that our country has to offer. But beyond that perspective, I want to remind folks that there is only one freshman in the history of the Atlantic Coast Conference who has ever won both ACC Player of the Year, which Cooper Flagg definitely will win, and National Player of the Year, which Cooper Flagg probably will win. The only freshman in ACC history ever to do that prior to now was Zion Williamson of the Blue Devils back in 2019. National Player of the Year as a freshman is looked at differently in the modern era than it once was, but I want to remind folks for perspective also that there are only 3 guys who have done it prior to maybe Cooper Flagg becoming that freshman who becomes this year's National Player of the Year. He would get my vote, and I do vote on some of those awards. But the other 3 names, the only 3 for now until Cooper Flagg maybe does it, Kevin Durant at Texas in 2007, Anthony Davis at Kentucky in 2012, and that Zion Williamson guy again in 2019. If you're adding your name to that list, 2 of those 3 guys were number 1 overall picks. Remember, Kevin Durant fell to number 2 overall in the first round, but that's obviously some very heady company for Cooper Flagg. ACC Player of the Year as a freshman, which we know Cooper Flagg is going to be. There's only 3 of those in the history of a 70-plus-year-old league. Now, I know freshmen were ineligible under the rules for decades, but they've been eligible since the 1970s. And only 3 freshmen have ever won the ACC Player of the Year honor. It was Jahlil Okafor of Duke in 2015, Marvin Bagley III of Duke in 2018, and then that Zion Williamson guy again in 2019. Going back to something we mentioned on our show earlier, in fact, before anybody was writing or talking about it, we were on this. The clean sweep of the 5 statistical categories: points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocked shots. Update there for perspective. Cooper Flagg still leads Duke in all 5 categories, and only one is close. Common Malawatch, the big fella, is within 1 blocked shot of Cooper Flagg as we're having this conversation. So that category could be close, but Flagg will definitely lead the Devils in points, rebounds, assists, and steals, barring injury, of course. Only one college freshman ever, Ben Simmons of LSU back in the day, has ever led his team as a freshman in all 5 categories. And Simmons, remember, did it on a mediocre LSU team that missed the NCAA tournament. Flagg is doing it for one of the top teams in the entire country. And he's doing it as a guy who only recently turned 18 years old. 18. Remember, he's supposed to be a high school senior. As the TV broadcasters like to remind us, Cooper Flagg is only recently an 18-year-old in a league, remember, where, for example, SMU's starting center, who is a freshman, is almost 21 years old as a freshman. Cooper Flagg, again, could be going to his high school senior prom soon. Instead, he might be the National Player of the Year. Finally, I want to remind folks, again, for perspective, Cooper Flagg is doing this in a year where college basketball has gotten older again. There was that stretch where freshmen were able to dominate more frequently because so many guys, elite talents, were only staying in college for a year or two. Well, college basketball has gotten older for several reasons. The COVID bonus year of eligibility, name, image, likeness money that has kept guys in school that might have otherwise turned pro. That should make it harder for any freshman to shine, Cooper Flagg or anybody else. We are actually seeing far fewer freshman starters right now in college basketball because of these factors that I just mentioned. To me, that context makes what Cooper Flagg is doing even more special. Quick reminder, and then I'll hand the baton to Coach Keating. Almost all of the other best players in college basketball right now are collegiate veterans. Most of them are seniors. Janai Broome, Auburn big fella, senior. Hunter Dickinson, Kansas big fella, senior. The guard at Marquette, Cam Jones, probably another All-American, senior. The guard at Florida, Walter Clayton, senior. The guard at Tennessee, Zakai Ziegler, senior. The guard at Alabama, Mark Sears, senior. Braden Smith of Purdue is a junior and a very experienced guy. These All-American teams, because of those college basketball has been getting older factors, are going to be overwhelmingly juniors and seniors and some fifth-year guys, even the occasional sixth-year guy. In our backyard, Duke is an anomaly because of all those talented freshmen, but Clemson's 4 best players are sixth-year senior Chase Hunter, fifth-year senior Jaden Zachary, and fourth-year seniors Victor Locken and Ian Shefflin. Louisville's 4 best players, seniors, Chucky Hepburn, Rain Smith, Javon Hadley, and Terrence Edwards. Wake Forest's 4 best players, seniors, Hunter Salas, Cameron Hildreth, Trayvon Spillers, Efton Reed. UNC's RJ Davis, fifth-year senior. Stanford's 2 best players, the big guy Maxime Reynaud, senior. The point guard from Duke, Jalen Blakes, senior. I mean, the All-ACC squads are going to be overwhelmingly juniors and seniors. The All-American teams we vote on, overwhelmingly juniors and seniors. And it is in that context that Cooper Flagg might be joining the likes of Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, and Zion Williamson as the National Player of the Year. We all know what he's doing is special. I think that background and those details make what he's doing even more magnificent in the grand scheme of things.
And to make it even better, he actually said he may come back to school.
Yeah.
Which is a total financial decision. But when you think about that and the value of what he could command in the open market in an ever-changing landscape in college, it could come down to, can you garner $12 million next year at Duke as opposed to the $11.5 million he would get as a presumptive number 1 pick in the draft next year. And that also leads to a runway of obviously 3 total years of about $36 million. Oh, and oh, by the way, a 5-year extension that'll be probably about by that time $250 million. But how much money is too much money, and where is your basketball mindset? Are you really enjoying this? Is it better basketball? We just came off a weekend that was atrocious by NBA standards at the highest level of NBA All-Stars and competitive nature. The product is being maligned right now. The college product may be supplanting some of that in part, although just for a short period of time, it may never really rival the NBA. But if you're Cooper Flagg, are you really thinking about coming back? That's not something the other teams want to hear about.
Everything you want is right here. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up from last year. Shoot 'em my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same page.